Protests keep growing over the farm bills passed by the central government in Parliament recently. There are different viewpoints on how this will truly benefit the farmers of India. On paper, the bills look like just what the doctor ordered. It allows farmers to sell their crops to whoever they want, wherever they want, and at whatever price. Yet, many concerns persist. Now, in the midst of all of this, we have heard from Mr. R.S. Sodhi, the Managing Director of Amul India, who has tweeted about his perspective in the context of the huge success that dairy farming has been in India. Let me just read out to you what he said. He said, "Few may also not know that in milk, no MSP, no crop loan or interest subvention, no input subsidy like fertilizer, no power subsidy, and even no income tax exemption. Still, dairy is growing more than double the rate of agricultural crops." Now, it's a very interesting perspective in the middle of this heated debate to understand what potential these laws possess to unleash the productivity in the agricultural sector. But does the example really sit well when you compare it to dairy? To answer those questions and more, I'm joined today by Mr. Sodhi. Mr. Sodhi, thank you so much for speaking with us on ET Now. Let me begin by getting an elaborate sort of response to how you view the three farm bills and, of course, the concerns that farmers have expressed over it. I'll leave the politics out of it, but several farmer unions have come together to protest these farm bills, even though there is an assurance that the MSP system stays.
Well, Tamanna ji, let me admit first, I'm neither an economist or any political spokesperson, though I may not be able to express very explicitly views or opinion about the farm bills. But after working more than 38 years as an employee of the farmers organization, which is owned by 36 lakh families, I know what is the farmers' concern. See, farmers' concern is only one, whether you take milk or fish or any wheat, paddy, fruits, but only one. How much price I'll get for my produce, which I'm going to grow, which I'm going to invest, on which I'm going to put my whole future expenses. And this that concern, if it is not addressed, what farmers want, very stable and regulated price for their produce. And in India, you see, agriculture is not a business like development. In India, agriculture is a source of livelihood for more than 150 million families. 80% are marginal. So this is the one perspective. Now coming to what tweet you are talking, I have tweeted three things. And let me tell you, the first tweet was, few may know that in India, the largest crop is milk. It's more than 8 lakh crore. Value of this is more than the combined value of paddy, wheat, and sugarcane. And let me tell you, whether you take milk or wheat or paddy, the same farmer. Rather, milk is even landless farmers or marginal farmers are growing. So it is the same thing. And third thing is very, very important. You see, when India got independence, agriculture was contributing 50% of our GDP. Now, afterwards, with the increase in growth in manufacturing and service sector, agriculture contribution reduced and now it is around 16%. But animal husbandry sector is growing every year. Now it contributes to around 27% or 28% of agriculture GDP, or 4.4 or 4.45% of national GDP, and its contribution is growing. Not only that, if you see last 20 years, average farmer's income, if last 10 years if you see, farmer's income from crop or agriculture per se is growing at the rate of 3.2%, but his income from animal husbandry is growing at the rate of 14%. And this contributes 12%. So what you can say is growth is coming more in animal husbandry sector, future potentiality is more in animal husbandry sector because in India 1.35 billion people are consuming more and
Yes,
more protein and fat.
Mr. Sodhi, may I ask you? Mr. Sodhi, may I ask you, what you're saying is absolutely correct. In fact, the dairy production story of India is one of wonder. But in this, there is an organization like the Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, which has been the game changer. Amul has been the game changer, and as you explained, it is owned by the farmers. Is there a parallel like that for other crops, which is so fragmented, the land holdings are so small, there is no parallel system in place, which is where the question arises that if you take away the current system, which is the APMC and the mandis, what will come and fill that vacuum? Can you actually compare the miracle of dairy farming in India with what is happening in wheat or rice or sugarcane or other crops?
Because in dairy or animal husbandry, farmer can sell anywhere to anybody in his village. There are collection center or mandis at each village. There are around 3.5 lakh milk collection center at the village level. 50% cooperatives, 50% by the private sector. But if you compare to the agriculture crop, only little more than 7,000 APMCs are there. Because everybody has to go there, everybody has to buy from there. So what is happening is, let me admit you, why dairy is growing, there is a competition. There is a demand and supply equation. You see, and also the efficiency. Indian supply chain in dairy and animals is the most efficient in the world. Because you have to compete. I have to compete in a village. If you go to any state, there will be 2-3 collection center of various companies. They all compete with each other, give good price to the farmer. And then you have to sell in the market also. So you have to see your expenses are minimum. But if I decide that my produce will be sold at a fixed price and only the margins, commissions and everything, efficiency will not be there in the system. In dairy also it was there. Let me tell you, dairy was also like this. It was monopolized by the Polson and then cooperatives came and then now it is free. So what I feel is that farmers should decide what to grow, whom to sell, and buyer can decide where to buy. And let me tell you, whatever apprehensions are there, they are right.
Mr. Sodhi, what are the lessons that can be taken? What are the lessons that can be taken? Sir, what are the lessons that can be taken from the success of the dairy industry? Like you mentioned, there are collection centers everywhere, but then there is infrastructure and a system of place of cooperatives that have ensured that a perishable commodity like milk is collected on time. There is the cold storage chain, etc. that does not currently exist. So what will come and replace it? And do you think that individual farmers, without the strength of a cooperative federation, often backed and supported by state governments, will be able to negotiate the right terms with private players?
Tamanna, you have given the answer yourself. You see, if in a perishable commodity type milk which has got shelf life of 4 to 5 hours, you can manage procurement, storage, and quality check at the farmer, at the village level, where you pay to the farmer based on the quality, not only quantity. Fat and SNF, that is protein, is checked at the village level with the testing equipments available at which level. You take example in case of crop, wheat, paddy, edible oil seeds. There's no such type of systems where transparency is there. Still, it is either visual or to check the edible oil, they just put the grain inside the mouth and say how much moisture it has got. Because system has not become efficient. A transparency is not there.
It's not so much about MSP vanishing, because I think that has been made clear again and again. There are demands now to push it into law. But I think it's important to get to the root of the issue. And Mr. Sodhi, you've helped us do that. We need to establish a similar system for other crops like we have for the dairy industry, where private companies compete, where cooperatives built by farmers and owned by farmers have the final say. That strength in numbers could really be the actual game changer, along with these rules as enablers. I want to thank you so much, Mr. Sodhi, for joining us today and adding your perspective.
Thank you, Tamanna. Thank you.